I read the book Hard Times by Charles Dickens, whom I mainly prefer for two reasons. First is his ornamental language. So, if I can manage to comprehend his lengthy passages without the help of dictionary, I end up feeling like a linguistic gymnast. But a more important reason is that if you're a person with conscience, reading Dickens and getting his message, and more importantly, implementing that message in your life, leaves you as a better human being than you already are, because Dickens has the power and the magic to transform an individual into a more empathetic, compassionate human being than they already are. Now, in this particular story, he has focused on the education system and the power it has to transform a human being for the rest of their life. But education is not something that is only imparted within the four walls of a formal organization. Education is also something that you see and absorb in a domestic atmosphere. Education is also something that you learn through the practicality of life, and this is something that he has depicted through the four major characters, that is Thomas Gradgrind and his two children, Louisa and Tom Gradgrind, and a girl, Sissy Ju, whom he had kind of adopted. Now, the scene is that Thomas Gradgrind is one of the most eminent personalities of Coketown, and he is governed by his rigid philosophy of facts. He believes that children should be taught only facts, facts related to science, facts related to geography, facts related to maths, and any bit of creativity or fanciful imagination should be rooted out of their mind, because creativity can lead to sentiment, and if a person gets too sentimental, they'll become irrational, and it will leave them paralyzed, and they'll not be able to navigate through the struggles of their life, because the purpose of education is mainly utilitarian. Little does Gradgrind know that to live our life in the most balanced and meaningful way, we need both the wisdom of heart as well as wisdom of mind. Now, driven by his philosophy, he marries off his 20-year-old daughter to a 50-year-old man, Bounderby, not because Gradgrind is a bad human being, but because he is a prisoner of his own ideology, who sees matrimony as a utilitarian bond between two people. His daughter is extremely cold and frozen, and when she feels extremely suffocated in her marriage, that time she cannot take it any longer. She leaves her home. She comes running back to her father, Thomas Gradgrind, and confronts him and confesses in front of him that she all her life she had remained emotionally barren, and she tells her father that, father, your teaching and philosophy can't save me, but I need to be saved. So father, please find some other way to save me, because otherwise I'll break apart. And this is a scene which will leave, I think, any girl or any woman quite teary eyed. Gradgrind is a person for whom going to a circus is a sin, for which he had already reprimanded his children. And little does he know that the girl whom he had adopted from the circus, that girl would turn out to be an angelic character in his life, who would actually save his son Tom Gradgrind, who had actually robbed the bank later on, and help him to escape the claws of the laws in England. You know, Thomas Gradgrind, as I said, he is not a bad human being. But since he is a prisoner of his own ideology, he turns out to be an extremely bad father and a cold and frozen husband who had a very matter of fact reaction even when his wife died. You have another character, Bounderby. I don't know, I think the whole Bollywood is inspired from Bounderby, because he had come from quite a comfortable household, but he keeps on bragging about himself, boasting about himself, to show that he actually belonged to the lowest rung of society, and then has achieved his stupendous success and climbed up the ladder where only the privileged people reach. Having said privilege, it also portrays the immense gap between the haves and the have nots, and the kind of injustice that poor people have to meet or become the victim of in their life on almost on daily basis. So you have this character of Stephen Blackpool, who is actually in a very unhappy marriage, but he can't call it off the equation with his alcoholic wife because the laws are not in his favor. At the end, he is so shattered and so broken. You know, every time I read his dialogue again, I mean, someone will think how sentimental I am, but I do end up getting teary eyed because of his life is such. I mean, that will evoke so much of pity and sorrow in you. I said about language. I'll give you one example. A normal person will say, "Wow, do you remember me?" But Charles Dickens framed the same things in a manner that, Madam, your impeccable memory does me more honor than my insignificance deserves. Or he will not say a look full of hatred, he will say a contemptuous grimace, Grimace. So that is why reading Charles Dickens from vocabulary point of view, it will leave you quite enriched. I will recommend this novel to everyone. It's not recommended for a certain age bracket. It's for the children, for parents, but most importantly for educators, because it will make us ponder over the fact that how far we have come, but how far do we need to go? Because how much things have changed even in the 21st century. I mean, do we care about the wisdom of heart? Well, these are the things that I don't have the power to change. But yeah, you may read this book, and if you have already read Charles Dickens and his other works, you do tell me what is that one aspect of his love that, or one aspect of his work that you love the most. That's all.